and the drugs which are there in adrenergic system. Adrenergic system means the part of autonomic nervous system where noradrenaline, basically, even though it is said adrenergic, but noradrenaline is the important neurotransmitter. Even though adrenaline is also, but noradrenaline, adrenaline, they are the neurotransmitter, and basically the sympathetic nervous system comes under the adrenergic system. Okay, and you know, sympathetic is activated in a fight and flight situation, either in an stressful condition or okay, while the person or animal try to fight or just run away from the danger. At that time this system is activated. Okay, so just remember that with these concept you can elaborate a lot of things. The action, you don't have to remember much more the action if you clearly. So today what we are talking about, a system which is activated at the time of stress or at the time of fight or flight, to run away. So this system is activated here. Neurotransmitter is adrenaline and noradrenaline, so that is why it is named as adrenergic nervous system. Okay, so adrenergic nervous system, sometimes we say sympathomimetic because it mimics the sympathetic nervous systems. Mimic, okay. So sympathetic, which you have read in physiology also, and even Damodar sir has emphasized on that. So here the adrenaline, or you can, in short we write ADR, or even epinephrine. Epinephrine or adrenaline, it is the two names for the same compound. Okay, same compound. Adrenaline is a British name and epinephrine is an American name. Okay, just for the same compound. So if I say epinephrine also or adrenaline, I am meaning the same. Okay, and we or more precisely, the adrenergic nervous system, most of the time it is a noradrenaline, which is a neurotransmitter. Almost you can say 80-20 ratio. 80 is noradrenaline and then 20 is somewhere adrenaline. Okay, so noradrenaline, or we can, in short we write NA, or we can say norepinephrine. Okay, NE means norepinephrine. So if I say noradrenaline or norepinephrine, I mean the same compound. Okay. Yeah. So why we say this as a adrenergic nervous system? Because adrenaline, noradrenaline, they act as a neurotransmitter in this nervous system. So that is why we say it. Okay. And here where this noradrenaline, adrenaline are released is in all post-ganglionary sympathetic site. So today what we are talking is all post-ganglionary sympathetic site. So at the neuromuscular junction, nervous and effector junction, you can say, the organ. Okay, in all ganglia, the sympathetic nerve terminal and the efferent, except in sweat gland. Sweat gland, even though it is a sympathetic supply, but the neurotransmitter is acetylcholine. So you have discussed it in cholinergic nervous system. Okay, sorry. Noradrenaline, adrenaline, and dopamine. These are the three important natural catecholamine, okay, in our body. Now, among these, noradrenaline is very important in sympathetic nervous system. Okay, adrenaline, yes, most of the adrenaline is released from the adrenal medulla. Okay, and of course in other nerve terminals. While dopamine, this is a this is a catecholamine. There is a amine. Okay, catecholamine. So it is dopamine is generally present in brain, and of course even in the periphery also. So these are the three natural catecholamine. So I am emphasizing, so please remember, because this is important for your MCQs as well. Okay, so now how these neurotransmitters are synthesized? This tyrosine is synthesized in liver. Okay, and then this is what is a rate limiting step. That means More the tyrosine, more will be the synthesis of this. If it is less, then there will be less. So this is the bottleneck. Okay. So now this tyrosine is converted to tyrosine hydroxylase. So tyrosine is converted to DOPA, and DOPA is converted to dopamine. Okay, it is in cytoplasm of the nerve terminal. If this conversion happens, and then this dopamine is taken into the vesicle, and in vesicles this is converted, dopamine is converted to noradrenaline, and it is stored in a vesicle. You have read in cholinergic nervous system also. Okay, and this noradrenaline is converted to adrenaline. Especially this conversion occur in suprarenal gland, isn't it? What we say, adrenal gland. In medulla of that adrenal gland, this conversion happens, and most of that, the adrenaline is stored in there in our body. Okay, so this is, so dopamine, noradrenaline, adrenaline, these are the three natural catecholamine which is present in our body. Okay, so it is in periphery as well as brain, all those, but more dopamine is there in brain, noradrenaline in autonomic nervous system, and then adrenaline in the medulla. Okay, so this is how it is synthesized. Now what happens, how, so it is from today in sympathetic nervous system, or you say adrenergic drug, what we are talking is uh, post-ganglionic fiber. Okay, you are familiar, isn't it? Ganglia is a junction between a neuron and a neuron. Okay, there acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter, so we are not talking about that. After that, in sympathetic nervous system, post-ganglionic fiber, the nerve fiber, they terminate, they complete near to the organ. So this is effector cell, or you can say organ, which could be the smooth muscle or cardiac muscle, anything. Okay, so here, so there is a junction. Now here what happens, the neurotransmitter are stored over here, vesicles. Okay, so it is I have said the conversion of dopamine into noradrenaline happens here, and noradrenaline are stored here. Not only noradrenaline, even some adrenaline also. Now this is the nerve terminal, and this is a effector cell. Okay, and now what happens here is action potential. When it comes, then there will be exocytosis, and neurotransmitter will be released in the synapse. This neurotransmitter is what? Noradrenaline and adrenaline. Okay, so this neurotransmitter act on their receptor in adrenergic nervous system are alpha and beta. In cholinergic, it was muscarinic and nicotinic. Now here what happens, this will act on alpha and beta. Okay, and when it act on alpha and beta, then action will be produced. Okay, and after that, after the action is over, now what happens, how this action is terminated then? Once receptor comes and bind, and then there will be activity. Now it has to be stopped, isn't it? Continuous activity we cannot tolerate. So how it is stopped is, now there is one receptor alpha 2 which is present in presynaptic neuron. Okay, so this neurotransmitter which is present will act on alpha 2 and then send a negative feedback to the vesicles. Say, okay, we have been released, we are taking care of it, and now you can stop releasing the neurotransmitter. So this is how the neurotransmitter release is stopped. Okay, now what about the neurotransmitter present over here? Now this will be metabolized with the enzyme known as COMT, C-O-M-T, that is catechol O-methyl transferase. Okay, what is the full form of this? Anyone, can you tell me? So that I can verify whether you are listening to me or not.
Catechol O-methyl transferase.
Okay, catechol O-methyl transferase, this enzyme. Now here, where this enzyme is present? In synapse. Okay, now either it is broken down by this enzyme, or this is a taken back by with the help of NE means norepinephrine. Generally, it is norepinephrine, isn't it? Or you can say noradrenaline. NET, that means norepinephrine transporter. This is the transporter number 1. It will help and take back. So what will happen? The neurotransmitter, either they will be metabolized by this enzyme, which is said to be COMT or catechol O methyl transferase, or they are taken back into the presynaptic neuron with the help of the pump, which is set a non-epinephrine transmitter, so a NET. Okay, this is the first pump. Then what happened here? Now here it is in cytosol, in the neuronal cell it is there. Now here again this neurotransmitter either could be metabolized by this monoamine oxidase. Okay, what is this monoamine oxidase? The enzyme. It will break down, or it will be taken back into the vesicle with vesicle okay. This is a transporter. Okay, VMAT. This is the second transmitter. First is this NET, second one is this VMAT. So with this it is transported, and here it is not broken. The noradrenaline will remain safe and stored here. So this is how the um, um, action happens in adrenergic nervous system. Okay, so I think you have understood. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, sir. Now again, I will just repeat the same animation. Okay. Now here the neurotransmitter are stored here, and when action potential come, exocytosis happen, and then neurotransmitters are released. It will act on the receptors, which is alpha and beta. Two types of receptors are there, isn't it? Okay, and this produces the action. Okay, this produces, and immediate what happens, how the this action is checked. There will be two mechanism going on. One, this neurotransmitter will act on alpha 2, which is alpha 2 is present in presynaptic neuron. Okay, and this will send the negative feedback mechanism and stop the release of neurotransmitter. That is what happens. And the neurotransmitter which is released in synapse will be acted by COMT. Okay, and the catechol O methyl transferase enzyme, either it is broken down by this, or it is taken back into the synapse with the help of transporter NET, which is the first transporter. And here in cytoplasm, again, the next enzyme can act, that is MAO, monoamine oxidase. Okay, or it is taken back into the vesicle with VMAT2. Okay, so this is what happens. Now see, the adrenergic drugs, we have at least 3 types of adrenergic drugs. What are those? Is one, we have a drug which directly act on these receptor, okay, and produces the action. So what is that known as? That is directly acting. We have a drug which comes and act to these receptor and produces the action. So directly acting, we have one type of adrenergic drug. Similarly, we have some other drug which they don't act on these receptor, but they either block this enzyme or block this transporter or these enzyme transporter. If then what will happen if these are blocked? Then neurotransmitter will not be metabolized or taken back. The concentration in the synapse will remain higher, isn't it? Okay, and then what happens? There will be prolonged action of adrenergic nervous system. So here what is happening? It is not acting on receptor, but it is acting somewhere other side, and then it prolong or increase the activity of adrenergic drugs. So that is what we say indirectly acting. Okay, indirectly, or sometime even if you block this, okay, then what happen? If you block this, more neurotransmitter will be released, more action will be there, isn't it? So this is the second type. One is directly acting on receptor, okay? So alpha, beta, or even you can say alpha 2 receptor, they can act directly or indirectly. They will act over here and increase or decrease the action, okay? And third one, some drugs, they act in both these two mechanism, directly also and indirectly also. So mixed type of adrenergic drugs are there. So three types of drugs are there. Okay. Uh, are you clear?
Sir, can you please explain once more the indirect method?
Indirect method means they won't act on a receptors. What they will do, they will either block these enzyme or neurotransmitters, okay? And then what happen? If it is blocked, then these neurotransmitter will not be taken back, okay? So it will remain in synapse. When it will remain in synapse, then it will act more on these receptor, okay? So this is what is indirectly acting. Okay, so
Yes, sir.
this way we have three types of a drug. Okay, we will go into the drugs, but before that, let us talk about the receptors and action. And so adrenergic receptor. So how many types of receptors are there? Yes.
Two
Two types.
two types.
Yes, very good. Two types. What are they?
Alpha and beta.
Very good. Alpha and beta. Now, alpha and beta, again, they are further classified. Alpha is again classified into alpha 1 and alpha 2. Alpha 1, where it is present? In effector cell, isn't it? Alpha 1. Mostly alpha 2 is present where? Presynaptic neuron, isn't it? And you are familiar with the axon. What alpha 2 will do if you activate alpha 2? The neurotransmitter release will be lesser. Okay, and while alpha 1 is present in our organs, okay, and produces the action, they are further classified into alpha 1a, alpha 1b, and alpha 1d. Okay, you can remember this. This is little bit arrogant. Alpha 1, I am top, so that is why it is missing c. Okay, I am the king, so it is right. So a, b, and d. Okay, while in alpha 2 there is alpha 2a, alpha 2b, and alpha 2c. So subdivision, if you do not remember this, well and good, you have to remember alpha 1 and alpha 2. Okay, so that is there. And beta, we have again beta 1, beta 2, beta 3. Okay, and now we have to know where is the exact the location of these receptors. Okay, now the this adrenergic is complicated. I have said that adrenergic is a little bit complicated than the cholinergic. Why I am telling this? Because now here, to understand the adrenergic system, you have to know at least two things. Okay, number one is where all these receptors are present and what will be the action. Okay, number one thing, where are they present and what are the action, and it is very easy to know. Now next one challenge, you have to know that adrenergic drugs, they may not have equal efficacy to all these receptors. Okay, some of the drug will have more action on alpha 1 only. So what will happen? Only this action will be more prominent. Some will have action on beta 1 only, or some will have beta 1 and beta 2, no action on alpha, or some will have alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2, no beta 3 action, something like that. So drug, which drug is that, you have to know that. So two things is essential, and they are not very difficult. One is the location and their action. Okay, and to remember the location and action, okay, I will just give you some formula mnemonics. Sympathetic. Sympathetic is for fight or flight or in stressful condition. That is what you have to remember. Okay, whenever I say, okay, sympathetic nervous system, okay, is activated, then what you have to think, we are fighting position. Okay, so fighting position, what will happen to my heart rate if sympathetic is increased, isn't it?
Increases.
Yes. Okay, what happened to my airway while
Bronchodilation.
Breathing increases.
breathing? I need more oxygen, so that is why it is dilated. Okay, and what happened to my blood glucose level?
Increases.
It should increase, because that glucose will give me energy, isn't it? Yes. So that is what increase. So that is why our body, what will happen in sympathetic mode is that they will start breaking protein, fat, everything, and make glucose. And what is that known as? Breaking amino. Okay.
Gluconeogenesis.
Gluconeogenesis.
Yes, very good. So what will happen in sympathetic nervous system? There will be gluconeogenesis, isn't it? So this is how you have to know. Now, what will happen to the blood pressure while fighting? Pressure will increase or decrease? Blood pressure
Increase.
Increases.
increases, isn't it? And what happened to the blood flow to my skin?
Increase.
Decreases.
Decreases.
Reduces.
Because here skin doesn't want, it will be constricted, and what will happen, the blood flow will increase where the organ which is doing more work at the time of fight and flight. What is doing more work is heart, isn't it? So what will happen to our heart coronary artery? It will be dilated, isn't it? Yes. So skeletal muscle need more blood energy, so their blood vessels are dilated. Here in skin, mucosa, isn't it? All these where it will be constricted. Okay, so that the blood flow to those organs will increase. So in that way, you have to critically think. If you think in that way, then the action will immediately come. You don't have to remember what will happen. Okay, while fighting, what will happen to the peristaltic movement? What do you think?
It
Increase
decreases.
or decrease?
Decreases.
Decrease. Very good. Now you can guess what will be the effect on intestine, isn't it? Okay. At the time of fight, what will happen to the urine? Yes?
No urination.
No urination or more urination? Yes?
No urination.
No urination. Why? Okay, that is where my student used to be confused. Okay, sir, while fighting, isn't it? The person urinate. Okay, now remember, the person who is, or the animal who is fighting bravely, that means sympathetic is upper hand. At that time, there will be no urination at that. Okay, if the animal or the person give up, oh, now I have been defeated, give up. At that time, what will happen? Then there will be a fear and other thing. Then there will be urination. Okay. So those who are fighting bravely, there won't be any urination. Okay. That means losing. Now parasympathetic has taken upper hand. At that time only there will be urination. So in that way you have to think. Okay. That is, please think in that way. Okay. Start thinking at least for adrenergic nervous system. Next one is ABCD. Okay, it is not anybody can dance. There was a movie, Bollywood. Okay, no, it is not that. It is ABCD means A stand for alpha, B stand for beta. Alpha and beta receptor. There are two receptors, isn't it? Alpha, beta. So alpha is, this is black ink. Is it visible, the black ink color? White. Okay, alpha will constrict generally. Constrict, constrict, while this beta will dilate. dilate. Okay, so that is what A, B, C, D. Okay, constriction, generally the constriction are brought by alpha. Okay, and dilation are brought by beta. So while fighting, what will happen to constriction, dilation, you can think, and what could be the possible the receptor, you can again guess. Okay, so alpha brings constriction, beta generally dilate, it relaxes. Okay, so this is mnemonics that you have to remember. And in our body, how many heart is there? How many lungs are there? No answer. Why I am not listening? How many heart is there in our body, and how many lungs are there?
1 or 2 lungs.
One what? Yes, very good. Yes. Why I am asking? Because this beta receptor, isn't it? Beta receptor. This one is present in heart, 2 is present in lungs. To remember that, the location, we have 1 heart and 2 lungs. That means beta 1 is present where? In heart, and beta 2 is present in lungs, or you can say airway. Okay, and beta 3, where it is present? So beta 1 is present in heart. Okay, important place. Beta 2 is present in smooth muscle generally. Okay, where the dilation are generally produced. Beta 3 is present in the adipose tissue. Adipose. Sorry. Yes, adipose. Okay, so this is mnemonic. If you remember the actions, okay, what are the actions, and you can guess this. Also, even you can guess the uses also. So if you can do that, you can guess all these things. Then there you don't have to remember much more. Okay, so please, the ANS will become very, very easy. Okay, and of course we will discuss also, and don't hesitate to ask any question. Okay, so if you do that, then it will be easy. Otherwise, it will be very complicated. It is like a computer. Okay, computer. If you do not know, then it is very difficult. But if you know, it is very, very easy to perform all the tasks, isn't it? So same thing happens here. Pharmacology will become easy if you understand this. No, if you just go complicate, then everything will be lost. And remember, please depend on these lecture note more than the books. Books are little bit more complicating, but I have already said, books please read thoroughly, and whatever extra point you get from the book, just write it down and add to your lecture notes. Okay, got it? Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now let us see the location of the receptors, adrenergic receptors, and their
Sir, your voice is
action or responses. Sorry?
your
So
voice
your
is
voice
We are
breaking.
It's not clear, sir.
Not clear. Okay, then I will go to reading room. Okay, just cooperate, and then there I will take. Okay. Okay, now is it audible? Voice?
yes, sir.
Is the voice audible?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Are you listening to me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I can start, isn't it? Okay, so you have to just go through this lecture note and go through your textbook, okay? And whatever you understand, just give, bring those information and then add to the lecture note. That will be more than sufficient for your level for MBBS, okay? So talking about the location and responses of these receptors, okay? So alpha 1 is present in vascular smooth muscle and causes vasoconstriction. It is present in genitourinary tract smooth muscle, especially the sphincters, and causes contraction, okay? Smooth muscle in sphincter, it causes contraction. Radial muscle of iris, it is present, okay? There are two radial and circular. In circular muscle, there is a muscarinic receptor, and in radial muscle, what happened? There is this alpha 1, okay? I think in iris, okay? Just in the eye, there are two types of muscle. This is, okay, I'm just drawing the iris, okay. So this is what is circular muscle, and here the muscarinic receptor is present, M, isn't it? And there is radial muscle also, okay. This radial muscle. Here, the alpha 1 receptor is present. And when it is constricted, then what happens? There will be dilation of pupil. Okay. So this is what happens. So here, radial muscle, okay, of iris, it will cause mydriasis, the dilation of pupil. And in gland, it is present, which causes secretion. So all these are contractions. So alpha generally causes contraction. Now in liver, okay, there is alpha 1 as well as the beta. So what it do is it increase gluconeogenesis. It causes gluconeogenesis and glycogenolysis. Why? Because these are the stress, fight, flight responses. Here you need energy, glucose are required. So that is why, isn't it? This happens, okay? And alpha 2, this alpha 2, where it is present in prejunctional nerve ending, okay? Where in that animation I have mentioned you, and they decrease the noradrenaline release, okay? The check, negative feedback decreases. This is one place where it is. Apart from that, alpha 2 is also available in some vascular smooth muscles, okay, and in pancreas. So in vascular smooth muscle, it causes vasoconstriction, and in pancreas, it decreases insulin release, okay. So is it difficult to you to remember? I don't think it is difficult. It is very easy. Alpha 1 is present in smooth muscle of blood vessels, smooth muscle of genitourinary tract, smooth muscle of sphincter, iris, gland. So all there it causes constriction, okay? And it is also present in liver, where it causes glycogenolysis and gluconeogenesis. Alpha 2 is predominantly, most of the time it is present in prejunctional nerve and decreases the noradrenaline release, okay? And while in some places, there is in vascular blood vessels, alpha 2 are also present in very few, okay? Predominantly alpha 1 is present, okay? And it causes vasoconstriction, okay? Now, this beta, I have already said, 1 is heart. It is present in heart, and it increases heart rate. it increases force of contraction. FOC means force of contraction. It increases AV conduction. Okay, and it is also present in a juxtaglomerular cell, JG cell. Okay, JG cell in the kidney. Okay, and where it increases the renin release, renin, and this renin also causes blood pressure, rise in blood pressure. So that is why in hypertensive, sometimes we block it. We use a drug which are beta blocker. They will block the heart rate, force of contraction, and this, as well as it also inhibit the renin release, which is a very important factor for the hypertension or increase in blood pressure. Okay, so in cardiovascular system, we will be talking more about this also, okay, apart from other. And beta 2 is present in a smooth muscle, but the action is opposite, that is relaxation, and they are present in bronchial smooth muscle, bronchi. Okay, so what will happen? It will be dilated. So I have said beta 2 lungs, so more commonly it is in bronchial. Okay, causes relaxation, and it is present in gastrointestinal tract. Okay, and in intestinal tract, what happened? The sphincters are supplied with alpha receptors, so there will be constriction. The sphincter will close, and then that is a circular muscle, a longitudinal muscle in GIT will be relaxed, and that is where the beta 2 is present. Okay, longitudinal will be relaxed and sphincter will be closed. That is why the peristaltic movement will decrease. In genitourinary tract, it relaxes the detrusor muscle. Okay, so that is why there will be holding of urine. Now alpha will constrict the sphincter, and then the detrusor will relax, so more urine will be hold, so that is why the urine will not pass. Okay, similarly in uterus it is present and causes a relaxation of uterus. Okay, in uterus, smooth muscle, both alpha and beta is present. Okay, and alpha and beta is present, but in pregnant lady, early pregnancy, there will be more alpha 1 receptor, but in late pregnancy there is more beta 2 receptors. Okay, so but anyway, this is relaxation. And beta 2 are also present in blood vessels, not all blood vessels, remember. Generally, blood vessels supplying to skeletal muscle and heart. Very strategically it is located, because while in fight and flight, you need more blood supply, more oxygen, more glucose in skeletal muscles. So in the blood vessels supplying to skeletal muscles or in heart, they should be dilated. So that is why there preferably beta 2 receptor are present. Okay, while in other place the constriction could happen, so that is why in other places alpha 1 receptors are present. Okay, and here it causes vasodilation. And beta 2 is also present in the skeletal muscle, where it causes glycogenolysis and potassium uptake. In liver, beta 2 is also present, where glycogenolysis and gluconeogenesis occur. Okay, and this beta 3 is present in adipose tissue and causes lipolysis. If you activate beta 3, there will be lipolysis or the breaking down of the fat tissues. Okay, so I think it is not very difficult to remember you all. Okay, have you understood this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
No doubt, isn't it? So I can proceed. But today, why the number of students are very less? Only 74 they are right now attending the class. It should be around 90%, more than 85.
So maybe due to the climate or the
Sir, connectivity is
yes.
with some.
Connectivity. Okay, so anyway, it is being recorded, so I think by recording they can be benefited. Okay, so now let us for there are few more minutes, so we will just uh, move ahead. So now classification, we have the drugs like directly acting sympathomimetic or say directly acting adrenergic drug. We have adrenaline, ADR means adrenaline, noradrenaline, okay, isoprenaline, phenylephrine, xylometazoline. Now these are all whatever name I have written, they are some of the commonly used, like phenylephrine is one of the important component of our like anti-cold preparation, like D-cold, Sinarest, isn't it? You might have seen. Xylometazoline, it is very one of the important component. It is used as a nasal decongestant, topical. So all these are some of the commonly used one. Similarly, we have indirectly acting. Indirectly acting, that is the drug which causes more release of this neurotransmitter, amphetamine, tyramine. Uptake inhibitor, which inhibit the uptake mechanism, NET, and what we talked, isn't it? So that is cocaine. And MAO or COMT inhibitor, silicinin, entacapone. We have that, okay? And we have mixed action sympathomimetics like ephedrine. It is not, okay, ephedrine is different. It is not epinephrine, it is ephedrine. And mephentermine, okay? This mephentermine is also very important. It is nowadays, it should be present in a cupboard at OT, okay? So OT, it is used as an emergency medication. So we will be talking about that. So classification, so this is how we can classify. And the other way of classification is based on their clinical use. So we will look at those classification in other, in next class, okay? So now let us talk about the action. What are the action in our body? So I think with those information, we can just guess the action and then even receptors, okay? Like for talking about the action in your syllabus, it has been said that adrenaline should be used as a adrenaline and noradrenaline as a prototype. So now earlier I have said that in adrenergic system you have to know the two things. Number one is the where the receptors are located, alpha, beta, where it is located and what is the action. We have completed that. Then other is the drug, to which receptor that drug act. If you know that, then you can say, okay, this drug will have these all actions. So adrenaline, it has action on alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2, and very weak action on beta 3. Okay, so it has almost all action in all the receptors. So that is why in your syllabus it has been said that adrenaline should be read as an prototype drug. Okay. And now, similarly, the other drug is noradrenaline. Noradrenaline, the difference is it doesn't have any action on beta 2. Beta 2, that means in bronchioles, in the blood vessels supplying to skeletal muscles, the coronary artery, that dilatory action will be missing, okay? So that is noradrenaline. And there is one more, isoprenaline. Iso means isoprenaline, okay? Isoprenaline, we have these have no action on alpha and only action on beta 1, beta 2, and beta 3. Okay, so this is the three important like drugs or amines. Okay, now in heart, what happens? Okay, let us talk about the heart. In heart, which receptor is present?
Beta 2.
Beta 1.
Beta 1, very good. Heart is only
Beta
one in our body, okay? So beta 1 is present in heart and it increase heart rate. That is what we say positive chronotropic effect. It increase force of contraction, that is positive inotropic effect. It increase the AB conduction, the conduction, which is said to be positive dromotropic. So beta 1 action, so adrenaline, noradrenaline, isoprenaline, all will increase heart rate, isn't it? Okay. So this is in heart, there will be heart rate will be increased. It increases the cardiac output and oxygen consumption. Okay, oxygen consumption in the heart will be increased. Now in blood vessels, what happens in blood vessels? Okay, in sympathetic or say in fight flight response, the blood vessels has to be constricted. Where, which blood vessels? That means the mucosal, and then which is present in these skins and other, they are constricted, but the blood vessels present in the skeletal muscle has to be dilated. So in skeletal muscle, the blood vessels supplying to skeletal muscle, they are predominantly beta 2 receptor, while in other it is alpha 1. Okay, so vasoconstriction alpha 1 and vasodilation beta 2. Renal, in kidney there is one more receptor which is D1, that is this is uh, dopamine receptor. I have said three natural catecholamines are dopamine, adrenaline, and noradrenaline. Dopamine, noradrenaline, and adrenaline. Okay, if you go into the sequence, this is the sequence: dopamine, noradrenaline, and adrenaline. So in renal, there is alpha 1 receptor as well as this D1 also, which causes the vasodilation. Okay. Now, what happens to the blood pressure? Blood pressure depend on two things. Okay. In physiology, has it been discussed? Blood pressure is equal to cardiac output, C, cardiac output into TPR, total peripheral, this is R, okay. This is total peripheral resistance. Cardiac output is when heart rate, force of contraction, okay, increases, the cardiac output increases. Okay, so when heart rate, force of contraction increases, cardiac output increases, and blood pressure increases. Okay, when this total peripheral resistance means while pumping the blood, how much resistance is being felt by the heart, that is what is we say total peripheral resistance. Peripheral, if like blood vessels is narrow, then what will happen? The heart have to pump hard, it has to feel more pressure, the heart will feel more pressure. Okay, than when it is dilated. When it is dilated, the easily blood will go, so heart will feel less pressure, isn't it? So that is why total peripheral resistance will increase if blood vessels is constricted, and if it is dilated, the total peripheral resistance decreases. So if it is like blood vessels is dilated, then what will happen? Total peripheral resistance will decrease, blood pressure will decrease. But if it is blood vessels are constricted, then what will happen? Total peripheral resistance increases, blood pressure increases. So blood pressure can either increase by increase in heart rate or by blood vessels constriction. Okay, so in sympathetic nervous system both will happen. Okay, so this is now adrenaline. What does it do is, adrenaline, what happens? Heart rate is increased. So this is what we say systolic. The blood pressure generally, the systolic blood pressure depend on this cardiac output, while diastolic depend on total peripheral resistance. Okay. So now here what happens? Adrenaline heart rate, heart is beating. So that is why the cardiac output, the systolic blood pressure will increase. Noradrenaline also act on beta receptor. Isoprenaline has less affinity to beta receptor, so that is why the heart rate will increase, but in lesser amount. So that is why one arrow is here, two arrow is there. Now in diastolic, what happens? Adrenaline not only act on alpha receptor, it also act on beta receptor, isn't it? Beta receptor dilate the blood vessels, while alpha will constrict. So there is a dilation effect also, there is a constriction effect also. Okay, So that is why what will happen, the systolic blood pressure may increase or decrease, okay, while noradrenaline there is no beta 2 action, so that is why there will be always rise in blood pressure. Isoprenaline there is fall, so mean will be like this, okay. So adrenaline have a biphasic response in blood pressure. Biphasic I will talk in next class. So today we will stop here, okay. So in next class, we will pick up from here. So please go through the this recording, okay, and try to make a note